In Kruger National Park, South Africa, a majestic male lion reigns as the ruler of the savannah. With his magnificent mane and proud stride, he instills fear in all other animals within his territory, where no predator dares to challenge his authority. Tourists from around the globe flock to Kruger, hoping to catch a glimpse of this legendary lion at least once in their lives. The tale unfolds on a scorching afternoon as a herd of antelopes grazes by the lake. The lion watches them intently from a distance, his cold gaze fixed on a strong yet somewhat slow leader deer, which he targets due to an old wound. Seizing the opportunity, the lion lunges forward with astonishing speed, launching powerful pounces. In a panic, the deer flees, and many of its companions leap into the nearby lake to escape. The chosen deer also jumps into the water, despite not being a strong swimmer. In a frenzy of prey, the lion immediately jumped after it so as not to miss its delicious target, but the lake was much deeper than he had anticipated. As soon as he touched the water, the lion realized that he was struggling in a dangerous situation. The cold water and strong current below caused him to quickly lose strength. The deer, although not a good swimmer, managed to swim into shallower water thanks to its efforts. The lion tried to surface, but the swirling current caused him to sink. The mighty roar of the ruler was now drowned out by the sound of splashing water. In just a few short seconds, the lion was exhausted and gradually lost consciousness. His mane drooped, and his body began to sink into the lake. At that moment, a ranger named Tyler was on patrol nearby. Tyler drove a special vehicle, his eyes observing any unusual movements on the grassland. He happened to see the commotion by the lake and had a premonition that something was wrong. At first, he thought it was just a lion hunting as usual, but a moment later, he realized that the lion had not surfaced. He immediately stopped the car and rushed to the lakeshore without thinking about the danger to himself. Tyler squinted his eyes to search, seeing a patch of orange-yellow mane looming below the water surface. Without hesitation, he quickly took off his jacket and jumped into the deep, muddy, slippery water, which made it extremely difficult to move. After a few dives, Tyler grabbed the unconscious lion's front leg. He used all his strength to pull the lion into shallower water. As he got closer to the shore, he felt the enormous weight of the animal even more clearly. Its breathing seemed to have stopped, and its eyes were closed. People often say that confronting a lion is extremely dangerous, but now the scariest thing was that the lion could die at any moment. Tyler laid the lion on its side on the ground, his heart pounding with anxiety. He had learned first aid for wild animals, but this was the first time he had to practice with such a large lion. Without hesitation, he began to compress the lion's chest to pump air into its lungs. His heart was filled with faint hope that the lion would revive, as he had been trained. The compressions were steady and persistent, with sweat from his forehead falling onto the lion's wet mane. A few minutes passed, and the lion showed no signs of movement. Tyler gritted his teeth and counted the compressions according to the correct procedure, not daring to stop. He even tried to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, carefully avoiding the sharp fangs. Suddenly, the lion twitched slightly, its body shaking weakly. Tyler stopped and put his ear close to its mouth to check its breathing. A faint breath of air indicated that its heart had begun to beat again. Tyler was filled with joy and quickly called for help on the radio while continuing to check on the lion. The lion was panting heavily, but was showing signs of life. With his experience, Tyler pulled out a syringe containing resuscitation medication and gently injected it into the lion's muscle, being careful not to cause it more pain. Then he stood back a little in case the lion woke up in panic. Time seemed to stand still as the two lay panting on the shore of the lake, one man and one powerful predator. Tyler placed his hand on his chest, feeling his heart pounding, still in shock. The lion blinked for the first time, looking around with a hazy gaze. Its familiar golden eyes were now tired, but still held a hint of life. It struggled to raise its head, but then collapsed again because it was too weak. Tyler breathed a sigh of relief, knowing the animal was out of danger but needed time to recover. He lingered to monitor the lion's breathing and heart rate, ready to intervene further if necessary. His radio kept receiving messages asking about the situation, but Tyler assured them he could handle it. The sun was slowly setting, the golden glow of the sunset shining on the lion's wet fur. Tyler opened a small bottle of water and sprinkled it on the lion's face to help it wake up. The lion tried to stretch, seemingly in response to the cold. Tyler understood that it needed time to calm down and, at the same time, space to avoid panic. He quietly backed up to the car, turning on the hazard lights to avoid another car passing by. He watched from a distance as the lion began to stir, shaking its head as if trying to shake off the trance. Its large ears perked up, and its eyes focused on the car where Tyler was standing. Tyler remained calm, not wanting to scare the animal. Instinctively, the lion roared softly, but the sound was much weaker than usual. Tyler gently stepped closer, holding out his hand for the lion to sniff. The lion did not attack, nor did it run away. It only growled very softly. Tyler smiled, knowing that the animal was gradually realizing he was not an enemy. After a while, the lion tried to stand up on its shaky legs. It staggered a few steps and then collapsed, looking tired. Tyler gently supported it, but was also ready to pull his hand away if it became angry. He soothed the lion and spoke slowly, as if it could understand. "Calm down, my friend. I'll help you," he whispered, even though he knew it could not understand him. The lion blinked, and its breathing gradually returned to normal. Tyler immediately checked its body for injuries. Luckily, there were no serious injuries other than exhaustion. He then returned to the car and took out a large piece of cloth to lightly cover its body, keeping it warm during the night. Tyler decided to stay by the lion until it recovered enough to move on its own. Night fell, and the moonlight illuminated the two distinct figures now connected by a thread of kindness. The next morning, the lion was feeling better and began to walk slowly around the car. It sniffed the air and raised its head, roaring loudly, as if marking the return of a ruler. Tyler smiled, knowing that the lion had passed the critical stage. However, he still used the walkie-talkie to call the support team to bring the lion back to safe territory. Before the team arrived, the lion accepted some dried meat that Tyler had prepared. It regarded him with a curious expression, both proud and somewhat grateful. When the support team finally arrived, they were taken aback to see the lion behaving gently beside Tyler. Although the other staff remained cautious, Tyler reassured them that everything was fine. After assessing the situation, they decided to release the lion back into its familiar territory to minimize stress. From that day forward, every time Tyler drove his patrol car, the majestic lion would silently appear, following him and seemingly protecting him across the vast savannah of Kruger National Park, South Africa. What do you think of this rescue story? Let us know in the comment section. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.